And then, of course, you said you had another question for me.
Yes. So my second question is a bit more cosmological. I know in previous videos you've mentioned like a mysterious, like seventh or eighth cosmological force.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking, what if fate itself, the concept of fate, is that mysterious force? Because so many things seem to be rooted in WoW, like the Nordstorm storyline where he is fated to become Morrizond.
Yeah.
That is nothing that can change.
Yeah.
What if fate supersedes first ones? What if it's like there's first ones, fate, and then clockmaker?
I would actually say, what if it's fate, clockmaker, first ones? What if fate
That's
supersedes
interesting.
everything? Because here's the funny thing. When you take our cosmos and you look at our cosmological map and you zoom out, there's other things there. Our cosmological map is just a small, tiny part of the actuality of the cosmos. It says the clockmaker, and Ian was very specific, the clockmaker made everything in our cosmos. It does not state that the clockmaker made everything in the entirety of the cosmos. So when you zoom out, those other things may have been created by beings even more powerful than even the clockmaker. Now, fate, to me, seems like a being that would almost be intertwined into the very fabric of any creation. Because everything you do will be fate. When the clockmaker, whatever the original clockmaker was, when he made the first planet, that was fate. Fate decided that that planet must exist. Without fate, how would you explain that planet existing? Right? So fate is sort of just, it's an underlying principle. It's a rule within the galaxy. In sort of modern day Hollywood Christianity, and when I say Hollywood Christianity, I mean the dramatic version, the theoretical version of Christianity almost. Death is one of the sort of fundamental parts of existence. Death is eternal. From the beginning to the end, you know, it's even claimed that death will one day claim God. So death will reap God himself, because death was there literally from the start with no other way around it. If you look at, I don't even want to call it Hollywood Christianity, because it's probably better just Hollywood religiosity, shall we say. If you look at that, fate goes by many names, but all of it plays into the exact same being. It's literally just one being. So for the Egyptians, it was the ferryman. The Romans had another, I can't remember what the Romans called it. The Greeks had a name for it. The Egyptians had, not the Egyptians, ones before the Egyptians, there's another name for it. Every single culture had a name for what ultimately would be fate, the one that decides where you go. But as it turns out, at least according to, you know, modern day, the sort of coalescing of all faiths, it's the same being. It literally just, it gets used by the different major religions depending on which one is in power at that given time. But it's the same being, and this being predates all other creations. So death in this being is basically used to be the first and will always exist right up until the end. So I could see fate as that. We know that fate is an actual being in World of Warcraft. We know, or it's either beings or being. Not entirely sure. Sorry?
I remember in Shadowlands, I cannot remember exactly where, but I know there was a tidbit of dialogue where it mentioned, or it kind of alluded or hinted to the fact that fate might be a being.
Yeah.
I think it was in Zereth Mortis.
If I'm not mistaken,
sure.
That would be the second time that it's been alluded to. In Legion, there was one of the bosses in, I want to say it was in Taurus, but it could actually have been the one before in Taurus. What was it called? The one where we fought the Avatar of Sargeras?
Tomb of Sargeras?
Tomb of Sargeras, yes. I believe inside Tomb of Sargeras. I would have to go back and check all the voice lines for all of the bosses in there. But they made mention of the Sisters of Fate. It's a voice line. It's a throwaway voice line that speaks about the Sisters of Fate. So that would then, if it happened in Zeroth Mortis as well, that would be the second time that Fate has been called an actual thing, something that you can actually point towards. And now the third time will be with Malfurion and Ysera. Malfurion says, "It is I." Ysera was not fated to die on that day. So if for Ysera to come back, I must take her place. Now the argument there is kind of silly, because they know the Winter Queen. Just go to the Winter Queen and say, "Hey, can we get Ysera back, but also keep Malfurion? You know, it's all good." The Winter Queen knows us. She will probably not deny us, so she'll be like, "Yeah, okay, fine, you know. We can do without the anima. We have a lot of new anima coming in. We should be fine." The fact that Malfurion says that this cannot happen without this exchange suggests that this is even above the Winter Queen. Not even the Winter Queen gets to make this decision. Fate has decided that Malfurion will take that place. Or if Malfurion doesn't want to, Ysera stays. But there's no both gets out. Fate wants its pound of flesh. I wonder if we will ever see Fate or discover Fate. Just because I do think, again, we're starting to teeter on the brink of incredible sort of macro level cosmological things, which almost definitely will put a lot of people off. Especially not now. I think Blizzard should be very careful right now with going too deep into anything like this, because they might risk losing a lot of players. It's very clear that the player base of World of Warcraft have had enough of the cosmic stuff. Look at how many people are having so much fun in Dragonflight. Because it's known, it's localized, it's simple. We know this lore.
Yeah.
You know, we've been on this planet for so long. We understand what it is. We're happy with it. Blizzard should probably give it another, like, 2 or 3 expansions. That doesn't mean that they can't introduce it now. And they did. Malfurion is the first ever concrete notion of Fate having an actual layout. So Fate determines things, and it also gives us a way in how Fate operates. Sorry, just want to... I know that's not exactly what you asked, but I'm on a tangent here, so give me a little bit of leeway here, please.
Worries.
It tells us how Fate operates. If you remember, Noble asked Steve the Newser, was all of this just going to happen? So we had no free will. In Zeroth Mortis, they speak about how, you know, the prophecy said that we would arrive and all this would happen. And the Newser says, no, not really. There were many prophecies. This just happened to be one of the prophecies that came true. Fate works similarly. You see, Fate determined that Malfurion should die in Val-Shara. Due to the actions of Ysera, it shows us that Fate does not directly interfere. If your actions change the direction of the future, Fate will accept that. Fate will stand back and let it happen. But if you then want to go back and right a wrong, Fate will require that that wrong is righted in the right way. So it tells us, basically confirms, we have absolute freedom in how things happen. And Fate is perfectly happy as long as the pound of flesh is paid. So Malfurion was meant to die. Ysera died in his stead. It was an equal power exchange. So Fate was like, well, at least one powerful being is off of Azeroth. It's not the one I wanted, but it is one. And that I'm happy with. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Are we going to become the god killers of Azeroth? Or are we just eventually going to fight Fate and kill Fate? Who knows? But it is interesting to think about. Did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I don't think Fate will be killable because the concept is too deep. It's, it's like the fabric. It's like teeters onto the fabric of existence and non-existence. It's like above creation levels.
Unless, of course, fate's fate is to die. In which case,
true.
fate could die.
That's a paradox. Yeah. That's a paradox and a half.
Yeah, because if fate dies, doesn't everything die with it? Since everything is tied to fate, and fate is tied to everything else.
But then here's the other issue. If fate is that far up, what does that mean for Azeroth? Since she is reality, the being of reality. Where, does she abide by fate, or
she might be the one that she might be the one being that is completely free of fate. Because she's reality. All of the other beings in our cosmos is tied to fate. They act only in accordance to how fate deems. Azeroth might be the one that is outside of that. I still believe that Azeroth, now more than ever, I believe that Azeroth is not of this cosmos. I believe that Azeroth is the other force. The brokers identify two forces, one that would eventually become the sixth, possibly seventh. Whereas they say the other force was left outside. They don't know what happened to that force, but it seems like that force may have been left outside. There's no mention that that force was ever left outside. So it is possible that rather than that force being outside, that force is inside. And so it would probably make that force immune to the fate that governs at least this cosmos. And that might be why the Titans believe Azeroth to be so super powerful, because she's not limited to the notions of fate. At least that's an opinion, I think. It's very difficult whenever you guys... I love answering questions like this, because it allows you to really think through the logic and rationality of the story and sort of push the boundaries of what that logic could be. But then you always arrive at the same place. I don't know. It could be. Which is so annoying. I hate having to say, I don't know.
I'll say one more thing. Yeah. You just opened up like 20 million questions I could ask you. I will save that for future Q&As. So
yeah, no, you're more than welcome to do so. Don't worry.
Oh, I have a massive list for you, so I'll be back.
Oh,
so.
I love that. I love that. Welcome to my world. Every single time I put out a fucking speculation theory, I leave going, fuck, I should have said this or this. I should have talked about this. This is actually something. What the fuck is this? How does this actually work? Where does this fit into it? Always. Just more questions without answers. And then I find more answers, and then I have more questions. So, yeah, it's always good. It's always good. I'm looking forward to the future questions.
Would there be an off chance I could DM you a few of them? On Discord?
Yeah, you're welcome to. Yeah, you're welcome to.
I would say submit them into the Q&A section.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're welcome to DM me just so that I have them, so I can look over them and sort of think about them. But if you want them asked during Q&A, my DMs is a fucking mess. The chances of me losing those DMs, guaranteed. I currently have about 12 requests for DMs that I haven't even opened yet, because I don't know where the fuck to add them. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, I would almost definitely say better to just drop them in the Q&A, because at least they're the mods keep track of all of the Q&A questions, and I'll make sure to go through them. But you are welcome to send me a DM as well, and I will try to keep it somewhere safe, because I love lore questions.
Oh yeah, I have like a million, so... Alright, I will see. You have a wonderful day, night, I don't know.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this day still. Almost nighttime, but still day for now.
I stayed up all night just to be here.
Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, can I get some hearts in chat for tricks? That's some dedication. I really appreciate that, bro. Sleep well. I hope you.
Oh no, I have a Christmas party to go to in 5 hours. So.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, enjoy your Christmas party.
Thanks.
I really appreciate that, bro. Take care of yourself, man.
See ya.
Bye-bye.